Oh, hello and welcome to Craft Chat. I'm your host, Conrad Clancy. We're going to chat about craft. Craft like chatter points. You got your levels, let's roll please, let's go. On this two-part video, I'm going to share with you some of the lesser known autistic traits you need to know. On part one of the video, we're going to talk about speech, communication, and perception-related traits, including something I absolutely experience on a daily basis, face blindness. Let's go. Hey, I'm Orion Kelly, that autistic guy. Yep, I'm autistic. And I want to thank you so much. Thank you to the return subscribers for subscribing to the channel and checking out my videos. And welcome if you're new to my channel. I was diagnosed as autistic later in life. And since that diagnosis, I've tried to devote my time to advocating for the autistic community with the goal of raising the level of understanding and acceptance of autistic people. Now, I do that in a number of ways. I have podcasts, I write blogs, and I do these YouTube videos. So I would absolutely love it if you would consider subscribing to this channel if you haven't already, because by subscribing, not only will you never miss another video, but of course also you'll help us reach more people with the goal of simply raising the level of understanding and acceptance of autistic people. And that could be autistic people in your life or just the community in general. So aside from hitting that subscribe button and ringing the notifications bell, you can also reach out to me on my socials. You'll find me most places. There's the Facebook page. You can follow the Orion Kelly page on Facebook. You'll also find me on Instagram. I tweet on Twitter, tweet, and TikTok, where I don't know what I do. People like it though, but I don't know what you would call what I do on TikTok. I guess you got to see it for yourself. That's how you sell yourself, my friends. I don't know what I do, but yeah, go see it. Marketing 101. Oh, hey, you can also check out my website. Yeah, it's the one-stop shop, though you don't buy anything on it. So it's not really a shop. It's a shop if you could get things for free. It's like a shoplifting. That's not right either. Just go to the website, okay? It's got everything. It's got all my podcasts, all my videos, all my blogs, info on me. You can contact me and say, hey, check it out, orionkelly.com.au. Oh, and I almost forgot. Please, whatever you do, watch until the end. Watch till the end so you can see the end. Watch till the end or you won't see it. And then got to work on that. Okay, let's get started. Now, the first lesser known autistic trait I want to talk to you about is a thing called face blindness. So what is face blindness? Well, simply put, face blindness is, in essence, where an autistic person can actually struggle to recognize a person that they actually know. So they're seeing their face. This person is known to them. This person knows them straight away, but for some reason they just can't place the face. Face blindness is absolutely something that I experience as an autistic person. I find when this happens the most is in out of context situations. So for example, let's say I'm out shopping, right? Or I'm down the street or in a public place and someone just comes up to me unsolicited and says hello, like straight away, straight into it. They're obviously known to me, we should know each other. Hey, how you going? What's happening? Now the issue there is, and I'm not sure if this is because I just wasn't prepared to meet or catch up with person A or person B, or I was in a different context and I wasn't thinking about that. One way or another, I'll be struggling to work out who this person is. And they'll already be like, hey, how you going? And of course, I'm trying to play along, but really I'm doing a very bad job at playing along because the whole time I'm still pushing myself, pushing my brain to go, who is this person? What's their name? For goodness sakes, you have to know, come on, they're talking to you like your friends. Come on, what is, bang, the whole time I'm just thinking about trying to get it and I can't place it. An example of where I've experienced face blindness in the past is someone who I may work with or someone who has been connected to me in a workplace at some point will come up and say hey to me in a non-workplace environment. So for example, a shopping center. And for some reason, when I see someone who I may have a connection with from a workplace in an out of context setting, so not in the workplace, and I just can't connect who this person is and why they're talking to me like they know me. And a lot of times it gets very awkward. They might say who they are and I'm like, oh, of course. And either way, I look like an idiot, but it's something that it's a legitimate, genuine struggle. It's not an every time thing. It's not like face blindness occurs for me for every person in every context. No, I think in many ways for me personally, it's usually when I see people in out of context situations, or if I see people in situations where I'm completely not prepared for it, or I'm focused or overwhelmed by what I'm doing, grocery shopping, down the street, in the park with kids, or whatever it is. On the other hand, some autistic people experience face blindness constantly, as in they have a condition where they cannot recognize people from looking at their face. So the takeaway from the face blindness trait for neurotypical people, or even parents and carers and friends and family of autistic people, is we're not in any way trying to be rude or obstructive. It's legitimately our brain ticking over in a situation where we just can't place a face for one reason or another. And I know it can become not only rude, but it can become awkward and just bizarre and weird and uncomfortable. But look, either you can step in and help the autistic person in your life by getting in first. So if you see someone approaching you guys, you can go, hey, Karen, how you going? You see what I'm saying? Or, hey, look, it's Karen from work, or whatever. Or you can just understand and accept that some autistic people may have the challenge of face blindness. Okay, now the next lesser known autistic trait you should definitely know is no filter communication. Take me, for example, as an autistic person. I tend to say exactly what I'm thinking. I tend to say exactly what I believe. I tend to say exactly what I mean. It doesn't even occur to me to repackage my thoughts and feelings. I'm just honestly communicating them to you. And I would just assume that's how people want to be communicated to, in an honest, open fashion. No, because as an autistic person, the trait of no filter communication, I find, can really put up barriers to communicating with neurotypical people or people who are not autistic. Because I find people who are not autistic, neurotypical people, they tend to communicate in a way where they don't say exactly what they mean. They don't say what they mean and mean what they say. But that is exactly how my autistic brain not only communicates, but also receives information. That's really the way that I would be at my best communicating. Saying what you mean, meaning what you say, explicit in your communication. Some people might call it black and white, no gray area, open and honest, or however you want to describe it. That's my way of communicating, which is the reverse of the majority of the world's way of communicating. And as a result of the orthodox approach of communicating, the whole kind of not saying what you mean, not saying exactly what you're thinking, can make someone like me, an autistic person with this type of trait, this no filter communication trait, come across rude, arrogant, or brutal in a way where that's not in any respect what I'm trying to achieve, but that's how I come across. So as a quick insight into me as an autistic person, when I'm talking to you, when I'm communicating with you, I'm just telling you exactly what I think, and I'm just telling you what my mind thinks you've asked me, right? So I'm just giving you information. I'm not in any way trying to not filter, because in my mind, it doesn't occur to me that filtering is required when someone's asked me a question and I'm giving them my answer. I'm putting information out there. I'm not receiving it on your behalf. That's your job. But critically, although it may come across like I'm not filtering what I'm saying, I'm in no way trying to be brutal or rude. I'm just trying to communicate to you in the way I see, which is a black and white, honest, open, straightforward answer or response or conversation. So for me as an autistic person, I absolutely struggle to dissect the meaning behind your words if in fact the words that you're conveying to me, you're communicating to me, contradict the real meaning of what you're trying to tell me. This next lesser known autistic trait that I want to talk about is, well, I think it's a little bit of a tricky one. It's the autistic accent. So first up, it can be a common experience for some autistic people to be asked by others where they're from, when to the autistic person, it's clearly apparent where they're from. It's not even a question. Now, this may tend to occur because autistic people, a lot of times as highlighted or diagnosed by speech pathologists, can have different or abnormal speech patterns or abnormal speech tone, volume, and voice. Another part of this autistic accent trait is an autistic person could speak in a way that they would class as, I'm just going to naturally, organically, genuinely speak to you. And then someone may ask the person, how did they sound when they were speaking? The autistic person will go, well, they're going to say, I sounded natural, I sounded normal, I sounded comfortable, whatever. And that person will go, well, actually, they sounded really robotic. Or they may go, they sounded like they had an accent, but I can't place like what country it's from, but I don't know, I can't explain it. So the two experiences don't meet up. And in addition to the robotic sound or the accent sound, you can also have an experience where autistic people, again, are just being themselves, are just in their minds talking normally and naturally. And other people, neurotypical people or anyone in general, may go, it sounds like they're putting on a voice, or it sounds like they're talking in like a cheesy way, in like an old school voiceover way, or it sounds like they're talking like a cartoon character, or they're mimicking someone they've seen in a movie, or it doesn't sound like they ever use their normal voice. And that can be really, I guess, disarming for other people to hear. Imagine if you're the autistic person and you think you're just being normal. So if people understand that, no, it's not robotic, it's not an accent, it's not a fake voice, it's an autistic trait, the autistic accent, and it's a way of hopefully connecting with the non-autistic world that this is an actual autistic trait. It's a thing. We're not trying to talk like robots or putting on stupid voices. We're being ourselves, and a lot of times that can manifest in what could be classed as an autistic accent. So it's an all-encompassing thing. Don't take it literally. Hey, an autistic person telling you not to take it literally. Now that's funny. Or is it? Now, the last lesser known autistic trait I think you should definitely know that I want to talk about on part 1 of this video is, this is a good one, talking volume and pace. It can be a generalization, but in general terms, autistic people can struggle to realize that they may be talking at a louder level than is appropriate for the situation, or their pace may be, again, not appropriate for the situation. Okay, so firstly, I'm autistic. I also have a 7-year-old autistic son, and I can tell you, putting me aside for a second, it is not just a daily thing, it's a minute by minute thing. My wife and I are almost constantly reminding our 7-year-old autistic son that he's talking a little bit loudly. It's more about how he's using his workers. That's what we use for when he talks, his vocal cords. So a lot of times our son may talk in the red zone, right? And you want to be in the green zone. So we always say, hey, little buddy, your workers are in the red zone. You're talking a little bit loudly and you're hurting your workers. You want to get down to the green zone. So we try to do it in a constructive way. But the bottom line is what that means is we're constantly telling our son he's just talking too loudly. I mean, that's just a fact. And for me, like my son, I get this a lot. You're talking too loudly. Can you keep your voice down a little? Can you talk a bit softer? Don't yell. When I'm like, hang on a second, I'm not even close to yelling, or I'm sorry, I didn't realize I was talking loudly, or really, I'm talking loudly? There's no insight. I legitimately and genuinely don't have the insight that in that point in time, I'm talking at a level, at a volume that's inappropriate for the situation. It just didn't occur to me. And the fact is, as an autistic person with an autistic brain, I am clearly 100% processing, perceiving, experiencing the world in a completely different way, through a completely different brain. If I'm experiencing, processing, perceiving the world differently, how do you expect the way I communicate it back out to be the same as a neurotypical person experiences the world? An example for me is a lot of times if I'm in a conversation and my mind is ticking over and things pop into my head, I want to share them. I want you to hear those thoughts. But if I don't get that thought out, the next thought will take over and I'll forget it. And it's very frustrating because it is, in my mind, appropriate for the situation. So I'm either constantly butting in, interrupting, one way or another. I want to share stuff before it's gone. And I don't realize that in doing so, sometimes I'm like breaching these rules of communication in a neurotypical world. There's no intention there to do that. It's more like, oh, I think this is a great thing I want to share with you. A little hack on this trait that I've picked up probably from my radio career is a lot of times I'll tell myself to speak in slow motion and to speak as quietly as possible. But that's in my mind. So when I speak in slow motion and quietly, a lot of times, believe it or not, it can come across like a normal pace and a normal volume for neurotypical people. So that's a little hack that I do. But you know what? Honestly, I think the big thing to take away from this particular lesser known trait with regards to autistic people and their volume and pace of talking is, where's it coming from? It's coming from an autistic brain. An autistic brain is different. I think we have to acknowledge that. That's the most important thing. If we can understand that, we can probably accept that autistic people are going to talk faster or louder. They may rant, they may speak passionately, they may butt in, they might not stop. But it's coming from a brain that's wired differently in the way it communicates and receives information. So that's part one, and do not miss part two of my lesser known autistic traits you definitely need to know. In the meantime, check out my other videos, and I would absolutely be delighted if you would consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. Click that subscribe button and ring the notifications bell so you never miss another video. Thank you so much for watching. We'll talk soon.